the Pistons losing Game 3 of their first-round series to the Orlando Magic on Saturday, 113-105. Now, Game 3 of any 7-game series is critical, especially if it's a 1-1 tie going in, because what are the stats? Whoever wins Game 3 of the series goes on to win like 75% of the time, something like that. So it's a crucial game. And especially being in a team like Orlando's position, where you now lead 2-1, and you have the next game, Game 4, at home. So you have home court advantage as you try to take a 3-1 series lead. But, well, got to get into this one. So the Pistons, I don't know. It just seems like they've completely lost that mojo. There's something missing, or in this case, someone missing. But before I get into who that someone is, you probably already know who I'm talking about. But just watching the Pistons play in this series as a whole, if you completely ignore that 30-3 run that they went on to start the second half in Game 2 of this series, if you ignore that third quarter, that one single quarter, the Pistons this looks like a completely different Pistons team than the Pistons team who won 60 games and was the number 1 seed wire to wire all season. Looks like a completely different team. And first and foremost, the Orlando Magic are completely outplaying the Pistons in the half court. And that's when the playoffs, that's when your ability to execute against a set defense, it's all that more valuable. And I'll give you an example. 2013, Denver Nuggets. Me being a Denver Nuggets guy, of course, I got to give you my own personal experience watching a team like this. But Denver Nuggets, 2013, at that time, 57-win regular season, most in franchise history. So by that measure, best regular season in Denver Nuggets history. But they lost in the first round. Now, they did have some injuries, but that Denver Nuggets team, not a very good defensive team, but they were a team that got out in the open floor. They generated a ton of fast break points. Get out and run, and especially taking advantage of that mile-high air, thin air. Opponents get tired a lot faster. Trying to really utilize their home court advantage, which they really did that season. Had an insane home record that year. But then out in the first round of the playoffs. Because what happens in the playoffs? Game slows down. Teams generally have more discipline. You're not going to get nearly as many fast break opportunities in the playoffs than you are going to in the regular season. Now, not to say that the fast break was what this Pistons team was known for in the regular season. It absolutely wasn't. This Pistons team in the regular season was known for being tough, known for being physical, known for being a little bit more of a throwback team in comparison to today's three-point heavy NBA. This Pistons team really prided itself on being that team that's going to beat you in the paint on both sides of the floor. They're going to get all their great opportunities inside the paint, lobs, dunks, cuts, while they're going to shut you down in the paint on the other end with that toughness and physicality. But suddenly in this series, that's like not Detroit's identity anymore all of a sudden. They look uncomfortable playing in the paint in this series. As a matter of fact, the only time the Pistons look comfortable is on the fast break. And we saw it in full force here in this last game on Saturday. The Pistons, anytime they got on a run, they were playing free, getting those fast break opportunities, striking before the defense sets. They just look so uncomfortable in the half court. And the glaring reason why, you don't want to center this on one person, after all, especially the Pistons being a team that was, in every sense of the word, a team. You don't win 60 games in the regular season if you don't have a good team overall. But Jalen Duren, this guy's drop-off in productivity, especially on the offensive side of the ball, from the regular season to the playoffs, is it's almost baffling. I've been going to bat for this guy all season long. This guy deserves to be an all-NBA player. He rightfully played in his first All-Star game this spring. But suddenly, it's like a completely different Jalen Duren in this playoff series. Now, of course, he's the defensive anchor. Really being that last line of defense around the rim. And really being the focal point of that toughness and physicality down low, defensively. And I think he's done a pretty good job of that in this series. His block rate has actually gone way up in this playoff series. Steals have gone down a little bit. But the offensive production for this guy, not only was this guy an anchor defensively, but this guy is an anchor beneath the basket. As a matter of fact, his true shooting percentage, effective field goal percent, any offensive metric that you can find, this guy's had a sheer drop-off. Not only is he scoring less, he's shooting the ball less. He's shooting the ball less efficiently. He's turning the ball over more. He's not rebounding as much. And especially considering how much of a tear this guy went on post-All-Star break. So let me give you an example. Post-All-Star break, I'm just going to rattle off all the scoring numbers from this guy post-All-Star break. This guy was an animal. 26, 25, 29, 33, 16, 24, 7, outlier. That's the only game in the regular season down that stretch, that point onward, that he finished in single-digit scoring. 17, 24, 26, 14, 30, 20, 36, 24, 23, 20, 26, 30, 10, another outlier. Only shot 7 shots in that one. 31, 22, 16, 18, 21, 20. Not only was he really scoring exceptionally well, but he's shooting a very high percentage in these games. Just to look at a couple of these, 10 of 13, 10 of 12, 9 of 10, 12 of 15, 13 of 17, 12 of 13. Meanwhile, let's look in the playoffs. I mentioned in that stretch, after the All-Star break, he only finished in single-digit scoring once. In 3 games against the Orlando Magic, 8, 11, 8. And besides a 3 of 4 shooting game in Game 1, a game, by the way, in which he finished minus 21, his high-scoring game in the playoffs of these 3 games, 11 points, 4 of 10 shooting, and then he followed that up in this last game, 8 points, 3 of 10 shooting. So, I mean, man, They got to find a way to get the real Jalen Duren back. They got to get this guy back because you could just see the sheer drop-off from the regular season to the playoffs is just astonishing. You will see guys, generally they'll have an uptick or a downtick in production from the regular season to the playoffs. It's usually a lot more marginal than that, though. And the players who step up big time, of course, those are, the more playoff build, the clutch players, if you will. But you don't really ever see a drop-off that's this sheer. Like, this is completely, off a cliff production for Jalen Duren. Astonishing. So, that's a key in the series moving forward, especially tonight, as the Pistons take on the Magic in Game 4. Need to have Jalen Duren step up. But besides that, the Pistons need to play a lot better in the half court. Get back to Pistons basketball, for crying out loud. Do what won you 60 games. You would think, just watching the series based on the eye test, if you took a complete normie off the street who doesn't even watch basketball and you sat them down, watched 10 to 15 minutes of this game, and you ask them, not even looking at the scoreboard, nothing like that, knowing nothing about what happened this regular season, you ask this person, which of these two teams do you think won 60 games in the regular season, and which of these two teams do you think scraped into the playoffs in the play-in? And I guarantee you that person is going to say the Orlando Magic was the 60-win team, and the Pistons were the team that scraped into the play-in. Because that's what it's looked like this series. I mentioned getting away from Pistons basketball, the Pistons intangibles that I like to bring up all the time. How about this? 63-50, Orlando Magic out-rebounding the Pistons. Not often the Pistons get out-rebounded in a game this season, but especially a double-digit margin like that is just insane. +4 edge on the offensive rebounds. Slight edge in second chance points. Pistons had a slight edge in points in the paint. But the 24 points off turnovers. Taking more advantage of the Pistons' mistakes. And just like in Game 1, again, give the Pistons credit. Fighting back. Able to make these comebacks, again, down double digits in the fourth quarter. Able to make it close at the end. Good on not giving up, but you were the number 1 seed. You shouldn't even be needing to come back against an 8th seed. And I get it, people saying, the Magic, they were hurt all season. This team's way better than an 8th seed. Well, they're sure playing a lot better than an 8th seed right now. But even with the Magic at full health this season, the few games that they were at full health, I still wasn't really sold on this team. But how about late game execution? Had a slight lead, a 1-point lead late. Man, that huge bucket by Wagner, backbreaker, 3-ball deep, put the Magic up 4, and then the Pistons just kind of collapsed from there. Next possession, Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, horrible shot selection. A step back 3, come on, dude. There's 90 seconds left. You got time. Go for a quick 2. Get back. Play some tough defense. You got another try to tie or take the lead on the other end. You don't got to try to bite off this whole chunk right away. Not a good look. And then immediately going on the other end, a back-breaking offensive rebound for Wendell Carter Jr. Just completely muscled that with one hand away from Cade Cunningham. Sends him to the line, makes 1 of 2. Now it's a 5-point game. And then Cade Cunningham, a turnover in the lane. Just kind of lost his footing. But you're right there. Last 2-minute execution, just very poor. And as a result, down 2-1. tonight's a must-win. Well, I mean, yeah. I go back to the point that every game, it's a playoffs, every game is a must-win. Because if you win either this game 3 or if you got the job done in game 1, you're still looking at a 2-1 lead. And then now you're not forcing yourself into a situation like this where you're trying to avoid a 3-1 hole. So I think for the Pistons, they have to execute in the half court. Stop being so sloppy. And is the real Jalen Duren going to stand up? Because the Pistons need him to put in a big performance in this one. If the Pistons want to evade a 3-1 hole. Tip-off tonight is at 8 o'clock. We'll have the live coverage for you right here on Jackson's Fox Sports 101.9 FM. Pistons and Magic, Game 4.
If you missed today's installment of On the Docket, podcast it at foxsports1019.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to tune in live weekdays at noon on Jackson's Fox Sports 101.9 FM.